cold day here at Ashton Gate, as the referee Paul Durkin takes the field with his two linesmen, Mr. Griffiths and Mr. Pellett, both from Swindon. Mr. Griffiths a late replacement today for Mr. Griggs from Dursley, and of course City hoping to extend an unbeaten run in the league to 3 matches, and they would fancy their chances, I think, today against the Charlton Athletic side, who were relegated from Division 1 last season and now find themselves struggling at the wrong end of the Division 2 table. City make the expected change in their side. Bob Taylor, who looked so sharp at Ipswich when he came on as a substitute for Wayne Allison last week, gets the vote in the number 9 shirt, which means that Wayne Allison reverts to the substitutes bench, where he's partnered by Glenn Humphries. The City side very much then as expected, with Mark Aizlewood playing his last game before suspension. Charlton, well, nothing's gone right for them. A very attractive football playing side, and a very experienced side, with Andy Peake, their captain, playing in midfield, and Alan Curbishley, the former West Ham player, also a very accomplished midfield player. And up front, well, there's Robert Lee, who's always a danger to most defences, whether it's second division or first division, and on loan Alex Dyer, who is with Charlton Athletic from their neighbours and tenants, I should say their landlords, Crystal Palace. Their 2 substitutes this afternoon, the experienced Steve Gritt and number 14 Carl Leaburn, the forward who played here last season for Northampton Town when he was on loan. So those are the 2 sides, and it's going to be City attacking the open end of the ground to kick off, with Nicky Morgan over the ball. Alongside him, of course, the reinstated Bob Taylor. So Mr. Durkin just checks his watch, and very shortly the game will be underway. Nicky Morgan, City's leading goal scorer with 9 goals, will get the first touch of the afternoon, and away we go. The ball played back immediately to Shelton, to Aizlewood, and David Rennie, I'm sure, will play it back to give Ronnie Sinclair an early touch of the ball. Rolls it out to Andy Llewellyn, finds Newman to exchange passes. A awkward ball for Rob Newman to take down, but he takes it down on his chest, tries to get Smith into the game. It's a long ball forward by Andy May, but the flag up on the far side for an offside against Dave Smith, and so the first free kick of the afternoon goes to Charlton Athletic. It's taken by Darren Pitcher, and he in turn gives his goalkeeper Bob Boulder, a very experienced keeper, an opportunity for his first touch of the afternoon. Long kick, Newman's under this one, ball just bobbling around, and ball get forward rather aimlessly there by Alan Curbishley, and Sinclair just exchanges passes with Andy Llewellyn, dribbles it towards the edge of his area, and will kick right-footed. Ball falls for Morgan, gets Junior Bent into the game. Bent, who was City's outstanding player last week, Robert Lee on the ball now, finds Curbishley. Curbishley plays it back to Scott Minto. Minto forward, but Llewellyn cuts that one out, and City have a chance to clear. It's a good flick on by Nicky Morgan, but not quite directed into the path of Junior Bent, and Charlton get it back to Bob Boulder. Had a spell at Liverpool as an understudy to Bruce Grobbelaar. The ball is played forward by Curbishley, only onto the boot of Newman. He tries to get Morgan into the game, and Morgan laid it off well for Shelton. Shelton exchanging passes with Junior Bent, gets the other winger Dave Smith into the game. Smith's cross though deflected, it's headed out by Andy Peake, only as far as Andy May. Good flick into the area, but Darren Pitcher is onto that one, and very calm header back to his keeper Bob Boulder. Long kick. Rennie is under this one. A good header out. Curbishley. It's Peake actually who knocks it forward. Finds Alex Dyer, but goes for handball there as Andy May intercepts. Gets it back to Sinclair. And Sinclair kicks only as far as Pitcher, but the ball is bouncing around. Pitcher finally gets in to clear off the feet of Dave Smith. And City get a throw in deep inside their own half, which Andy May will take. Plays it back to Mark Aizlewood, and that's not really a very good ball at all. Only finds number 11 Paul Mortimer, who shoots. Oh my word! And Sinclair didn't know much about that as it hit the bar, and Robert Lee's header back into the hands of Ronnie Sinclair, but Sinclair beaten by that superb strike by Paul Mortimer, and an early let-off for Bristol City as Smith now comes away for City. Can he get in the cross? No, he wins a corner off of Darren Pitcher, and Andy May will come across to take the corner. So a let-off for City after just 4 minutes of this game, as Paul Mortimer unleashed that shot from 25 yards to beat Sinclair, only to see it cannon off the bar, and the rebound headed into the arms of Sinclair. That's easy enough for Bob Boulder, who collects that cross off the head of Nicky Morgan. Oh, and a chance for City here, is it? Bob Taylor sees the ball go wide of the post, and lucky let off there for Charlton, and indeed a free kick has been given, but I have to say that Bob Taylor didn't seem to move in front of the keeper there, and that Bob Boulder hit it against Bob Taylor, but the free kick has been given. And that's a little bit difficult to comprehend. In fact, of course, it didn't result in the ball ending up in the net. It's only been a corner to Bristol City, but Bob Boulder a little lucky to get away with that. Mr. Durkin adamant that Taylor had fouled Bob Boulder, but this time the free kick at the other end of the field goes to Bristol City, as there's a foul on Andy Llewellyn. It'll be Bob Newman with the kick onto the chest of Nicky Morgan. Ball bobbling around as Charlton clear it as far as Robert Lee. Lee plays it back to Peake. Peake to Pitcher, to Curbishley. Curbishley goes all the way back towards Stuart Balmer, and the Scottish defender plays it back to his goalkeeper Boulder. One kick. Chance now for Mortimer to bring the ball down. That's a good piece of skill from the Charlton midfielder, and still going on the edge of the box. Will he get in his shot? He's got three defenders around, perhaps a little greedy there, and there were other options for him, but City now come away through Taylor. Taylor feeds Smith, but that's not a good ball from Smith, and Charlton can run it City again, and this time it's Robert Lee. He finds Alex Dyer out on that left-hand touchline, but well, Sinclair saves the corner, but my word, that wasn't a very good clearance. Almost gave Gordon Watson a chance to put Charlton in front, but luckily for Sinclair, got back in time. So City really haven't got things together at the moment as they try to get Taylor away, but Charlton hold firm. Ball goes out for a throw-in, which Llewellyn will take. Shelton plays back to Bent, but again Caton is able to clear, and Llewellyn has to cut out that long searching ball from Tommy Caton, another of those experienced players in the Charlton side. But now Scott Minto has the chance to come forward, finds Dyer. Dyer lays it off for Mortimer, and Mortimer again does well to get round the two City defenders, and Dave Rennie has to put the ball behind for a corner, and those City defenders not too happy with the freedom given to Paul Mortimer to get that cross in there, and really no City defender getting a tackle on Mortimer, as Charlton win a corner on the far side. It's going to be Alan Curbishley to take the corner. Played short to Robert Lee, played back to Curbishley. It's floated in and just too high for Mortimer, but it comes off the head of Mark Aizlewood for another corner to Charlton Athletic, and it's certainly the visitors who started the game the more impressively, as Curbishley takes the corner. Well, Mortimer went down there, but Rennie got the header away, and the ball played back to Curbishley, but again the City defender is able to cut it out at the expense of a throw-in to Charlton Athletic. Played to Mortimer, and Mortimer again turns towards that City goal, plays the ball back, cross comes in. Smith will be able to come away with this one, as no Charlton player had advanced to the edge of the box, and that's a good ball forward for Morgan, but good interception there by Stuart Balmer. It's a corner to Bristol City. Leaves the pressure a little bit on Bristol City as Andy May prepares to take City's second corner of the game. To the near post, it's nodded back, comes off the head of Mortimer. The ball is hammered into touch for a throw-in to Bristol City. Ten minutes gone, Andy May on the ball. It's still no score, as May's intended pass for Smith is watched behind by Mortimer, and Charlton will get a goal kick. Good header there by Rennie. Finds Morgan. Gets Smith into the game again. Smith, a good ball forward for Mark Aizlewood, and Aizlewood making a good run down this far side. A good cross coming in. Taylor stretching. Does well actually to crane his neck to that one, but in doing so loses the power in the header, and Bob Boulder has to collect. But that was a better move for City. But play is brought back now for a free kick to Charlton Athletic. The ball was played back in again, and Boulder's clearance. City player offside. Caton will take the free kick. It's a long one, only onto the head of Andy Llewellyn, and Junior Bent tries to make an impression on Paul Mortimer, but Mortimer does well. Watson feeds Dyer. Dyer this time showing some skill. Has to lay the ball off for Curbishley. That's not a good ball though, as he tries to find Robert Lee out on that far side, and so City now build through Junior Bent. Ball played to Andy May. May forward, only onto the head of Tommy Caton. May's got another chance to set things up, but Watson is in quickly, and here come Charlton again. Ball spread from Curbishley to Darren Pitcher. Pitcher into Watson. City still haven't cleared the ball as Dyer finds Curbishley again. Played wide to Scott Minto. Minto tries to find impressive Mortimer, but the ball goes through to Ronnie Sinclair. Morgan is under this one, but loses out to Stuart Balmer. It's played back to Pitcher. Pitcher forward for Dyer. Dyer with Aizlewood challenging. Aizlewood getting in a foot, but the ball still with Charlton, and Scott Minto plays it back to his keeper Boulder. Long kick with Dyer under this one. A good interchange from Lee and Curbishley, but the shot far too high, and no danger on this occasion to the City goal. But Charlton certainly playing some very good football in these opening minutes, and not looking like a team bottom but one in the second division. Taylor is up, a good flick on for Morgan, but it's cleaned up by Mortimer. Finds Pitcher, who doesn't think twice about putting it back to his keeper, Bob Boulder. Long kick, again Rennie is under it, it's flicked on by Andy May. Good piece of play between the City front players there as Morgan gets in. Smith, it's not a good cross. Caton turns it away, and the ball falls for Curbishley. It's still not clear, and now can Taylor get in a shot? He does. It's just wide of a post, and City perhaps waking up a little bit and warming to their task, because certainly this is a game where they're going to have to be on good form and be very watchful of the Charlton quick interpassing, which has caused them problems in this opening 12 or 13 minutes. So Lee now tries to turn Llewellyn. Ball again falls for Llewellyn. That tackle with Robert Lee, and that's a fairly aimless ball. Finds Aizlewood. Smith has to check back again. Aizlewood on the ball, takes no chances this time, and Ronnie Sinclair will clear his lines. Ball with Andy May. May finds Junior Bent. Bent with Lee in attendance, has to check back, finds Andy Llewellyn. Newman plays it across field. So we'll just have to stop on that one a little bit. That surely must be a foul on Morgan by Stuart Balmer. It is indeed a free kick to Bristol City. So we come up to the quarter of an hour mark. So Smith and May over the ball. Pitcher and Curbishley form a token Charlton wall. Smith leaves it for May to float it in, almost onto the head of Rennie, but Mortimer is there. Dyer completes the clearance. Junior Bent plays the ball back in, and despite the pleas of Bob Taylor and Nicky Morgan, the referee and linesman agree that it's a goal kick to Charlton Athletic. Bristol City 0, Charlton Athletic 0. The nearest we've come to a goal, that shot after just 4 minutes from Paul Mortimer, which cannoned off the crossbar. Robert Lee heading the rebound into the arms of Ronnie Sinclair. Throw into Charlton. Scott Minto will take. Played to Lee, back to Minto. Ball falls between Watson and Newman, and Newman isn't able to keep it in play. Goes out for another throw in to Charlton. Taken to Lee. Lee to Curbishley. Peake on the ball now, but closed down quickly there by Gary Shelton. There's going to be another throw in to Charlton. Played on by Mortimer to Dyer, but he can't keep it in. It's going to be a throw into City, which Andy Llewellyn leaves to Shelton. Indeed, Shelton plays the ball back to Llewellyn. Long ball forward, flicked on by Taylor, but only on to the Charlton defender, and it's a good ball forward there from Balmer as the ball comes in, and Ronnie Sinclair off his line quickly there to gather that ball from the head of Robert Lee. Another flick on by Taylor, but Caton is in quickly. Denies Junior Bent the space to bring the ball under control and perhaps run at the Shelton defence. So throw into City. Shelton takes it down the line to Junior Bent, back to Andy Llewellyn. Llewellyn plays it towards Bob Taylor. He can't get a touch on it. Ball straight through to Boulder. It's a long kick with the very Charlton player in close proximity. So there's a flick on there from Aizlewood's long ball forward for Nicky Morgan. But Morgan has strayed offside. And so it's a free kick which Tommy Caton will take for that offside decision. Left footed, played out wide to the right. Lee keeps it in, does he? Well, saved the throw in. It's a goal kick now to Bristol City, which Sinclair will take. Again, Charlton win out through Peake. Ball is spread wide to Scott Minto. Minto, a long ball forward. Dyer is under this one. But can't find Mortimer, and Junior Bent is in quickly. But City really getting themselves in a bit of a tangle. They're passing, lacking accuracy. They win a throw in, which Llewellyn will take. Again, not too many options for the City fullback. In the end, plays it short to Junior Bent, to Gary Shelton, but the tackle comes in as Bent tries to get away. It's going to be Andy May this time with the throw in. Down the line for Taylor, back to May. May checks back again towards Andy Llewellyn. Ball flicked on, but again the flick not directed towards Junior Bent, and Charlton clear their lines. Aizlewood has a bit of time to gather that clearance and plays it back to Ronnie Sinclair. Pitcher wins out in his aerial duel with Smith and tries to get Lee away down that right hand side, but Rennie is there, concedes a throw in, which Lee is going to leave to young Darren Pitcher. Plays it to Lee. Pitcher keeps in the return. Good piece of play there by the Charlton fullback. A good cross, but too close to Ronnie Sinclair, and he's able to throw it out quickly to Junior Bent. Bent stumbling, almost played himself into trouble. That's going to be a foul on Bob Taylor. Newman will take. Headed on by Morgan, tries to find Junior Bent, but again Minto is good enough to cut out the pass, but City win a throw in off of Watson. Bent plays it back to Newman, and City still not making any headway. Passing has not been too accurate in this first half, and there's another example of that as Rennie's pass goes astray, but Charlton demonstrate too that they're having problems finding their men, and they lose out. But City not able to capitalise in the middle of the field, and indeed Rob Newman has to play the ball back to his own keeper, Ronnie Sinclair, amid groans from the crowd. And Durkin gives the free kick there to Charlton for the trip by Shelton. Halfway through this first half, it's Bristol City 0, Charlton Athletic 0 as Dyer gets the flick on, but again the ball doesn't fall for the Charlton forwards, and City get it back to Sinclair. Gives Llewellyn a chance to build down the right hand side. Bent though, it's tackled out of it by Scott Minto, but Llewellyn in very quickly there, and Mickey Morgan does well on the far side, but can't keep the ball in under the challenge from Stuart Balmer, and it's going to be a goal kick to Charlton Athletic. Flick on there by Dyer, and whistle goes, presumably for an offside decision, and possibly for an elbow. Anyway, it's a free kick to Bristol City, which Sinclair comes out of his area to take. Long kick forward, good header out, but Rennie is there on the edge of the box. Aizlewood in quickly, gets up the header. Surely that's going to be a foul. No, Mr. Durkin chooses to ignore that one, and the ball just bobbling around. A bit like head tennis there, but the whistle goes again for another free kick, this time for offside. The ball is played forward to Taylor. Taylor is tackled out of it there by Charlton. Curbishley finds Mortimer. Mortimer running at the City defence again. The tackle goes in once, but still Charlton come forward, but this time Lee is denied by Llewellyn. But Junior Bent going nowhere there. It's a throw in to Charlton, taken quickly as Mortimer gets Lee away on this far side. Lee thinks about the shot, it's blocked by Newman, and Junior Bent almost putting City back in trouble there. Newman heading it away so far, but only as far as Curbishley. He finds Darren Pitcher. It's not a good ball from the Charlton fullback, and Rennie is able to find Dave Smith. Smith goes inside, checks back to Andy May. May sees Aizlewood down that left touchline, tries to get Dave Smith into that advanced position and past his fullback, but it's Stuart Balmer who comes across, and it's a throw in to City, which Aizlewood will take. Finds the head of May, backfield by the City fullback. May gets in the cross, skims off the head of Peake, still bobbing around. Shelton heads it back in. Taylor is there, but really weight of numbers deny him, but May flicks it back into the area. Junior Bent gets in the cross. No, he doesn't. Scott Minto does well for Charlton, and Lee does even better to drag that ball away for Curbishley. Curbishley finds Peake. Peake now to Dyer. Dyer gets in the shot. Oh, and that hit the outside of a post, and must also have taken a deflection because it's a corner. So another let off for Bristol City. That was a very crisp move from Charlton, starting in their own penalty area, taken on by Robert Lee and Alan Curbishley, and the shot from Alex Dyer hitting the outside of a City post off of a City defender. So Charlton threaten once again. It's a corner. Ball though comes off the head of Mortimer behind for a goal kick to Bristol City. Coming up to 27 minutes played. It's City 0, Charlton Athletic 0. A goal kick to City to be taken by Ronnie Sinclair. What a great kick there as Charlton come forward again, and Lee with that shot just past the post. What a good effort from the Charlton striker, 24 years old, 7 years now at Charlton, and before that was employed by the club as a turnstile operator. Only Sinclair then with the goal kick for City. And I'm sure the City goalkeeper very grateful to see that shot from Lee flash past the post. Well struck. Charlton not afraid to have a go from distance, as we've already seen in this game. Morgan gets the flick on, tries to find Dave Smith, but Pitcher is in again, and he finds Gordon Watson. Watson plays it back to Dyer. Dyer, that's a good ball across field, finds Paul Mortimer. Mortimer inside the box, his shot wide of the post, and once again City in trouble against the Charlton attack, who certainly looked dangerous without really being able to put the finishing touches to their inventiveness. So Sinclair with the goal kick for City. It's a good jump by Nicky Morgan, but again Charlton defence deny City any room, and Watson now has a chance to build for Charlton, but this time Rob Newman is in quickly, and Smith plays the ball down the line, but Taylor caught offside. That really has been the story so far in this first half, with City really not being able to break the shackles, and Charlton dictating the pace of the game and where it's going to be played. So Caton with the free kick. Aizlewood clears, throw into Charlton, which Pitcher will take. Forward towards Watson, but Andy May is in quickly, finds Rob Newman. Newman forward for Morgan. Morgan to Shelton. Shelton looking to use the pace of Junior Bent, but the pass misdirected. Minto and Caton recovering, and give Bob Boulder a chance to clear. Boulder, who really hasn't been seriously tested in this game. Aizlewood under the clearance. Smith on for Taylor. Taylor, though, tripped there by Darren Pitcher. It's going to be a free kick to City, taken quickly by Andy May. Finds Dave Rennie. Rennie to Smith. Smith again can't get his cross in, but Andy May wins the ball. Pitcher is forced to play it, but able to play it down the line, where Andy May cuts it out. Smith hits the cross. It's hit a little bit too long, but Taylor battles well there to win a corner for Bristol City. Junior Bent will take it out on that far side, the City right. Here it comes. Played towards Nicky Morgan. It's hooked away, and Peake now gives Charlton a chance to break, and Robert Lee is onto the pass from Peake. That's a good break by Charlton. He's driven wide by Andy Llewellyn, but he's still in possession. Llewellyn thinks about a challenge there, but Lee does well, and in the end Llewellyn has to concede the corner. What a good break again there by Charlton. Peake cleaning up on the edge of the box, setting Lee away on the left with a fine ball, and City stretch to keep him out as Curbishley takes the corner. Good header away by Andy May. Llewellyn forward for Junior Bent. Bent to Taylor, and that's not a good ball from Bob Taylor. Balmer forward into the empty void, and that too is just really giving the ball away, which gives Rennie a chance to feed the ball to Newman, and Caton is on to this one. That was a rather aimless ball forward, and Bob Boulder gets another touch of the ball. Long kick forward, flag is up, free kick to Bristol City, which Aizlewood would take. It was for offside. There's Smith. Smith forward to Morgan. Morgan takes it down well, tries to get Smith into the game, but Pitcher is there. But, Morgan redeems himself for giving the ball away. It's a throw in to Charlton. Pitcher takes it, finds Watson. Watson, a good pass to Curbishley, and Andy May is in. And the ball finds its way to Smith. Smith to May. Aizlewood, ball forward for Morgan. Again, it's taken well by the City striker. And again, Smith well watched there by Pitcher. And both the Charlton fullbacks have played the City wingers very well and stemmed the service to the front two. As a result of that, City have struggled throughout this first half, which is now 33 minutes old, as Charlton again come away. This time Dyer loses the ball but wins it back, gets in the cross, which I suppose in the end turns out to be a shot. Sinclair positioned, holds that one comfortably. Sinclair with the clearance, not a long one, but ball is headed on by Smith, only as far as Pitcher. Pitcher finds Curbishley, but Curbishley's pass forward is not a good one, and now City have a chance to break through May, and this time Smith's got a bit of room, but that's not a good cross. Pitcher though doesn't clear, goes at the second attempt, and Curbishley will play the ball long, and this is a good through ball for Robert Lee, which sees Sinclair having to come out of his area. But now Junior Bent on the ball, finds Shelton. Shelton on for Morgan. Morgan finds Shelton. Good tackle there by Caton, and plays the ball down the line. Mortimer does well. The tackles slide in, and a little bit of a fracas over on that far side between Mortimer and Gary Shelton. And Mr. Durkin wants to have a word with the two players. And taken away out of our shot for a moment. But both of them, it looks to me, will be booked. Certainly Mortimer is going in to the book. And Mr. Durkin turns round and asks the City number 5 for his name. Now Andy Peake and Alan Curbishley are coming across. Yellow card shown to both Mortimer and to Shelton, and really long time has been wasted over this incident, and one has to say that it didn't look too serious from where we are, admittedly on the other side of the ground. But Mr. Durkin wants to make his point. It's a free kick in any case to Bristol City, who only leaves it for Smith. Smith plays the ball in, just too long for Nicky Morgan, and it's a goal kick to Charlton Athletic. Well, despite not playing too well at the moment, City, I'm sure, would be very grateful to go in at half-time without conceding a goal, so that perhaps Jimmy Lumsden can give them a few words of advice. Certainly haven't put things together, as the ball is played back again to Sinclair. Morgan loses out. Peake plays it to Mortimer. Mortimer, long ball forward, but that's a super ball to Gordon Watson. Watson on the edge of the box, gets in the cross, and just too high for Alex Dyer. And it's City will break now with Smith. Smith hasn't been given a lot of room by Darren Pitcher yet, but he's going to take him on for pace this time, and this time Smith gets past his fullback. Well, he almost got past his fullback. He's brought down rather heavily by Darren Pitcher, and well, where is the consistency in the refereeing there? A minor fracas between Mortimer and Shelton ends with the both players being booked, and a tackle from behind by Pitcher, with really no intention of playing the ball, escapes unpunished other than a word from Mr. Durkin, the referee. It's going to be a free kick, however, to Bristol City, as David Smith gingerly gets to his feet after treatment from City physio Buster Footman. Smith just doing his bootlace up as May takes the corner. It's hit in low this time, and hook back in. Morgan's there, and Boulder over the top. And Mickey Morgan was there again for City, as he has been so many times this season. Possibly be too happy with the header, which might have been better directed downwards, but nevertheless a corner to Bristol City. Rennie gets the flick on. There's no one on that far side for City, and Caton just hooks the ball away into touch for a throw into City, and they've now got to keep the momentum going as Aizlewood finds Smith. Smith with two players around him. Just a check back for Aizlewood. A clever piece of play there by the Welsh international. Finds Andy May, and ball still not cleared as Taylor has his shot blocked, and now Charlton come away again. May gets in a good challenge though on Andy Peake as Curbishley tries to find his captain, but Peake takes the throw in, finds Dyer, but again Aizlewood throws himself in and wins the ball back for City. Newman forward, but Balmer does well in the air, but only finds Andy May. May finds Aizlewood. Smith a little further down the line, keeps it in, but now City have a chance to build as Morgan chests the ball down for Taylor. Taylor gets in a long cross towards Nicky Morgan, but Scott Minto hooks it away. Lee does well to retrieve, but only puts the ball really into the path of Junior Bent. The linesman flags for a free kick as the ball bobbles around inside the area, and Morgan almost gets it through to Smith, but it's Curbishley who comes away. Curbishley finds Alex Dyer, and once again a player dives in. It's going to be a word for Rob Newman, and once again you would have thought that that challenge might have been more deserving of a booking than the one picked up by Mortimer and Shelton a little earlier on. No one wants to see yellow cards in a football match, but really we ask for consistency as Curbishley finds Lee. Tackle comes in from Aizlewood, who does well. Ball played back now to Andy May. May with a bit of space, which has been denied City in this first half. Finds Rennie. Rennie plays it to Newman, but he played into trouble there as Charlton looked to close City down again, and Watson was on hand to force Newman to play it back to Sinclair. Taylor is up, but he can't win the ball in the air from the commanding Balmer, and indeed at the other end Dave Rennie can't keep the ball in after winning the header, so that's a throw into Charlton Athletic as we go into the last 4 minutes of the first half. Pitcher to take the throw in for Charlton Athletic, and Alex Dyer finishes on the ground there. And the challenge from Mark Aizlewood, but nothing given. But City can't capitalise on that, and Boulder finds the ball, but Minto dwells on it. Taylor goes down, but Minto, full credit to him, after losing the ball rather sloppily, recovered very well to get back and get the ball back to his goalkeeper Bob Boulder. Newman is under this one. It's with Dyer. Dyer turns the City defender, but his intended pass for Mortimer is cut out as Bent gets past two tackles, but there's the busy Mortimer who finds Dyer. Curbishley plays it wide for Watson, and this time Watson hadn't got back, and a little bit of prompting from the crowd there brings the ball back so that City can take the free kick for the offside decision given. Sinclair 10 yards outside his penalty area. to be perhaps a little bit of a push there, but Mortimer gets in the head. And Taylor loses out to Caton, and Caton plays the ball, tends to play the ball down the line, but when he finds touch, it's going to be City throw-in. Junior Bent on the ball, finds Andy May to Newman to Andy Llewellyn, and the ball being played around by City but really not getting anywhere, and Newman has to be in quickly there, and City want to throw in off the head of Scott Minto. Shelton will take it for Bristol City, plays it back to Newman to Shelton to Newman does well, finds Andy Llewellyn, chip inside of the box, a good little flick on by Morgan. Taylor tries to get the cross in, but the ball falls nicely for Charlton, and Andy Peake calmly plays it back to his keeper, Bob Boulder. City 0, Charlton Athletic 0. As Boulder tries to get Gordon Watson into the game, but it's well cut out by City, but equally Scott Minto does well there to shut Bob Taylor down. Dyer finds Minto again, and Minto makes a good run forward here, and here's Robert Lee. Lee has scored with a shot inside the far post, and that was a very good finish and a very good move from Charlton Athletic, and no more than they deserve. Credit to Scott Minto, who set up the goal, and City, a minute before the break, find themselves a goal down. It's Bristol City 0, Charlton Athletic 1, as Nicky Morgan restarts the game for City, and City really now will have to roll up their sleeves as Charlton come forward again. Well, there goes the half-time whistle. Charlton lead by that Robert Lee goal, no more, as I say, than they deserve, and City really very ineffective during this first half, and Charlton will feel that they could have been 2 goals to the good with that shot from Paul Mortimer hitting the crossbar after just 4 minutes. So the Charlton to kick off. We're still waiting for the referee to return after the half-time break. No substitutions in either side, and well, I'm sure Charlton will be delighted with the way that they've played in the first half. Not only have they looked a more impressive side, but they really have denied City the room to get their wingers into the game, and the service forward therefore has been pretty poor. Mr. Durkin is back, the ball is on the centre spot, looking at his watch, just checking with his 2 linesmen that everything is ready. It's going to be Charlton Athletic to get the game underway again in this second half. Here we go, as Andy Peake receives from goal scorer Robert Lee, and no panic as Tommy Caton plays the ball back to his goalkeeper Bob Boulder for his first touch of the second half. Kick which Lee is under, not quite directed to Gordon Watson, and City will win a throw in on the far side of the field, which Andy May took. Ball forward to Andy Llewellyn. His pass on for Taylor to Morgan. Morgan tries to find Junior Bent, but can't do so, but Taylor now has a chance to get through, but again he's well watched, but City come forward through Andy May to Llewellyn, the ball forward for Shelton, and this time Boulder has to be quickly off his line. It's well watched though by Scott Minto as Shelton makes the run into the area, and again no mistake by the Charlton goalkeeper. Not that you would expect it, a very experienced keeper who's played at Sheffield Wednesday and at Sunderland. Ball forward again for City to chase, but Pitcher is there. That's not a good clearance though. Ball now with Smith. Smith has surely run it to Pitcher. Has to check back this time. Aizlewood in. The ball flicked on by Shelton, but no danger there to the Charlton goal. It's a goal kick, and you can sense that this isn't one of City's better performances. The crowd quiet, rather anxious, perhaps also knowing that Charlton have played very well during the first half, and chances for City few and far between. City trying to build down the left-hand side, but it's Charlton who come forward again. Newman is there to cut out the pass for Dyer. But again, Charlton quickly, and City can't direct their passes. Ball played towards Bent, but Minto is good enough to cut that one out, and it's going to be a throw in to Bristol City. Llewellyn will take. Played back by Taylor. Ball bounces off the heel of Shelton as Caton tries to clear, but the second time he makes no mistake, hooking the ball in high into the crowd. Well, throw into City, which Llewellyn takes, gets the ball back from Shelton, but that's not a good ball forward by Andy Llewellyn, but Alex Dyer plays it into touch. Seems to suggest there might have been a bit of a bobble there as Llewellyn gets in the cross. It's flicked on by Taylor, falls for Dave Smith. The ball bobbling around in that penalty area. Good cross in. Morgan is under this one, plays it back into the path of no one really in the end, so Charlton come away again. Curbishley finding Dyer. Dyer now with Bent chasing back. Dyer just checks back, finds Minto. Minto to Curbishley, and City win the throw, and as Dyer runs out of space on that touchline, Rennie will take it. Taylor's under this one, but falls for Bent. But Caton is there, puts it forward, and Newman can only play it into touch. He'll throw in inside the City half. There, Mr. Durkin says on the halfway line. Taken by Minto, finds Dyer. And Llewellyn is adjudged to have nudged the on-loan striker. Strange state of affairs for players moving between Charlton and Crystal Palace, because of course they share the ground, so effectively no move involved at all other than a different colour shirt. So ball headed into the area from that free kick, but May clears, finds Junior Bent. Bent to Taylor. Taylor gets Bent away again, but really not perhaps running for Junior Bent. He got tangled up between his legs, and Stuart Balmer as a cross concedes the throw in, taking no chances at all. Little flick in, Taylor gets the flick on towards Morgan. Taylor with a shooting chance here, once, twice Charlton block it in. Llewellyn gets in the shot, it's blocked again, and Mortimer clears only as far as Dyer, who's got Newman in attendance, but Watson does well there with Andy May as City try to make ground forward. May's frustration shows a little bit there as he concedes the foul. Free kick to Charlton. 5 minutes into this second half, in fact nearly 6 minutes. It's Charlton leading by a 1-0 here at Ashton Gate, and that was a rather aimless free kick from Tommy Caton. Give City a throw in, which Aizlewood will take, and just working the touchline, gets another throw in on the halfway line. Again, Charlton win out in the air. But Aizlewood forward, not a good pass forward though, and Peake plays it forward, plays it back, and the ball then played forward. But, City win out there. Bent, a more central role there, plays it to Andy Llewellyn. Llewellyn forward towards Morgan, finds Shelton. Shelton tries to get Junior Bent away, but the pass struck too well. It goes into touch for another throw in to Charlton Athletic. They're bobbling around as Mortimer and Newman and Llewellyn all scramble for the ball, but falls to Junior Bent, who has to go all the way back to Dave Rennie, to Aizlewood. Aizlewood, a good ball forward, and that's good goalkeeping by Bob Boulder, as Smith almost got behind the Charlton defence. Aizlewood there cuts out intended pass for Watson, but City now trying to build an attack, and Smith is in here. In fact, it was Taylor, and it wouldn't have mattered any rate because the offside flag was up. It's a free kick to Charlton, and Boulder just taking the opportunity to calm his defenders down a little bit as City show a semblance of urgency at the start of this second half. Caton with the free kick, finds the head of Dyer, turn finds Peake, ball just played forward, but Llewellyn is there, and he finds Ronnie Sinclair. Again, Charlton went out in the air, but ball falls for Andy Llewellyn. Junior Bent does well there to win two challenges, then really asked to do too much, and Scott Minto releases the ball back to Bob Boulder. And kick forward, Watson hustled out of things by David Rennie. Aizlewood, a long ball forward, good ball too for Bob Taylor to chase. He's got Stuart Balmer with him, but he checks back for Dave Smith. Smith, his cross is blocked again, but Taylor has the chance to set up Andy May for a shot, and a deflection, and that took all the pace off the ball, and Boulder was able to watch that one into his hands. Andy May, who scored his first league goal for City 2 weeks ago in the 4-1 win over Hull City. Now City would like another goal now as Bob Lee gets in the cross. It's eluded Sinclair, and my word, City are lucky to get away with that, as Mortimer rolled the ball wide of the post, but what a good run by Robert Lee. Cross beating Sinclair there, and Mortimer, who's had a fine game for Charlton, really should have put the issue beyond doubt, and that really would have killed City off. But as it is, it's still City 0, Charlton Athletic 1. As we come up to 55 minutes in this game, Junior Bent to Llewellyn. That's not a good pass forward, but City battle to win the ball back, and Bent has another chance to set it up as May finds Shelton, but the flag is up again for offside. That one a little bit tight, but the linesman has given his decision. Caton will take the free kick for the offside decision. City fans urging him to take it a little bit quicker than he wanted to, as Rennie wins the header, but Peake picks up the pieces. This time he can't find his own player, and the ball is back with Sinclair. Good little flick on there for Morgan by Taylor. Junior Bent gets in across. Boulder is there though, and once again the Charlton goalkeeper, high above everybody else, is handling impeccable. Hasn't had too much to do, in all fairness, as Aizlewood Plays the ball forward again for Taylor to get the flick on to Morgan, and Morgan finds Smith. Smith, low cross, right-footed. Caton plays this one up in the air, but again Boulder is there. This time elects to punch, only finds Junior Bent. Bent gets in the cross, only onto the head of Darren Pitcher, and Lee clears as far as Watson. Watson to Curbishley, a good ball down the line for Lee, and City could be exposed here as Lee goes inside the box, stumbles a little bit but still maintains possession, and that's going to be a foul. A free kick to Charlton as Taylor, as Newman was nudging Lee. Lee now on the ball, gets in the cross, but this one's safely taken by Ronnie Sinclair. Curbishley finds Pitcher. Another free kick as Rennie clashes into the back of Watson, who's already holding his head before the ball is kicked back at him. And Watson just got a bump on the head there. Gets up to Durkin. Not sure he's alright. See whether he needed the trainer on or not. It's a free kick which Curbishley and Peake are standing over. Peake takes it. Ball is headed out by Morgan. Finds Shelton. Shelton finds Junior Bent. He's got Mortimer shadowing him. Now he's got Peake around him as well, and hasn't got really too many options there, but battles back to try and win the ball from Dyer. And does well, does Junior Bent there, as the ball again is almost threaded through to him by Shelton. Minto is there, but May now in a bit of space, making ground. And well, Dave Smith is pretty quick, but would have needed an express train to keep that one in, as the ball goes out on the far side of the field. And Darren Pitcher will take the throw in for Charlton Athletic. Not a good throw. Shelton finds Smith, but again Smith's control lets him down. Another throw in to Charlton Athletic. Newman forward for Morgan, and Smith gets away now. Can he get in a good cross here? It's played back. Caton is there. Morgan on the ball, but again, no bite from City at all there, as now Dyer tries to get away from Andy Llewellyn. Llewellyn does bite in this time, gives away the throw in. Down in front of us, which Minto will take, and Lawrence retrieving it for the Charlton fullback. And Newman clears, not a good clearance though, and Mortimer finds Curbishley. Curbishley just plays the ball square to Minto down the line. Rather aimless ball that. Llewellyn though forced to play it, and Charlton get another throw in, which Minto will take. Plays it to Mortimer. Mortimer with Bent in front of him, and Charlton with another throw in as they make ground down this left flank of theirs. Again, go to the goal line. Mortimer is on there, and this time loses out to Junior Bent. It's a goal kick to Bristol City as the time ticks by. Nearly 16 minutes of the second half played. And City still trail to that Robert Lee goal in the stroke of half time. And again, City can't really string any passes together. And now Charlton have a chance to break, and Mortimer gets round Shelton, and well, I half expected a penalty there, but City escape, and now they have a chance to break down the right hand side with Andy Llewellyn. Junior Bent has gone outside him, but Llewellyn takes the wrong option, and Caton cuts that one out. Finds Minto to Watson, who comes back from an offside position, and the free kick is given. Aizlewood receives from David Rennie, ball forward, headed on in towards the box by Bob Taylor, but once again Charlton deal comfortably with that City attack. It's going to be a throw in to City. Aizlewood finds Bob Taylor. Taylor back to Aizlewood. Aizlewood onto his left foot, plays it inside to Andy May. May to Junior Bent. There's Andy Llewellyn overlapping, left-footed cross. Shelton in there, and this time Boulder, obviously distracted by Shelton, couldn't hold the cross in, and who knows, if Shelton had got a little touch on that, then City might well have been level. And City now, after 63 minutes, making a substitution. It's Glenn Humphries coming on for Nicky Morgan. And it looks as though City are going to play with 3 in midfield, because David Rennie has come out of the back 4 to play in midfield. There he is, receiving from Andy May. That's a good ball forward by May to Taylor. Taylor plays it back to Junior Bent. Bent plays that one too short really for David Rennie. And Charlton come away through Robert Lee. Shot is blocked. And Llewellyn will clear. Shelton does a bit of cleaning up there. That's a throw into Charlton Athletic. So Glenn Humphries has gone into the back 4 alongside Rob Newman, and David Rennie into midfield with Junior Bent playing up alongside Bob Taylor. Dave Smith wide on the left hand side. There's Watson. Finds Curbishley to Minto to Peake. Mortimer plays it back to Scott Minto. Minto forward for Dyer on the edge of the box. It's Mortimer who gets the ball, and Charlton playing it around in no hurry at all as Peake and Mortimer exchange passes. There's Curbishley. Curbishley making the ball do the work. Finds Robert Lee. Lee checks back again to Curbishley. And City really having to do a lot of chasing as Charlton play keep ball. Goes back to Balmer to Caton. Caton forward to Dyer, and this is good football from Charlton to Minto. It's a little bit short for Mortimer, and ironic cheers really around the ground as City actually finally get a touch. But Mortimer has a chance now to perhaps set something up for Charlton again. That's going to be a free kick. And Mortimer not too happy with the pass he received there from his fullback Scott Minto. Sold a little bit short, run into trouble, but he does get a free kick. Which Peake will take. Plays it short. Good jink in by Mortimer to Dyer. Dyer gets in his shot. Like to turn inside the box, but still the danger is not cleared for City as Minto clashes with Llewellyn and Humphries. It's going to be another throw into Charlton, which Minto will take. And again gets it back. Fortuitously gets it through to Watson. Watson goes down but still manages to get in across, and Humphries this time will clear for City. Finds Junior Bent on the halfway line. Looks as though he might have been hooked there by Tommy Caton, but manages to elude that challenge, but not the second one, and no real advantage there to City as Dyer comes away again. That's a fine ball across to Robert Lee. Lee now inside the City area. Can he get in his shot? He does, and Watson gets the flick on wide of the City post, and Ronnie Sinclair prepares to take a goal kick for Bristol City. But Charlton well in control of this game, and well, so far the kindest you can be to City is to say it's a performance they will want to forget, as Charlton again play the ball into City's half. This time Rob Newman gets it back to Ronnie Sinclair. Minto wins out in the air again, and Stuart Balmer, very composed at the heart of that Charlton defence, plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper, who really has only one difficult save to have made in the game, or comparatively difficult. That was from a Nicky Morgan header, as Watson again attacks the City defence, and has he won a corner? Yes, he has. Came off of Rob Newman. Curbishley comes across to this near side to take the corner. Charlton left. Header out, only as far as Mortimer. It's still not cleared. It's still with Mortimer inside the box. Turns inside the box, back to Minto, who's popped up on the far side of the field, and City will come away, as Charlton got themselves in a bit of a mess there. But there's Peake doing some covering, but Smith will try his pace against Peake and Pitcher. Well, he gets so far, but loses out and then gives the free kick away. Not too happy with Mr. Durkin, the referee, but clearly pulled back the Charlton fullback. It's going to be a free kick to Charlton Athletic, who lead by a 1-0. The goal scored by Robert Lee right on the stroke of half-time, and a very deserved lead it is too. Not a good kick from Darren Pitcher, but Smith is not able to capitalise on that, although he does win a throw-in, which Andy May will take. Bent puts Andy May into the game. May gets in a good cross, a good header out by Balmer, only as far as Smith, but again Charlton a little bit too quick for City, and the ball is played down the far touchline. Newman has a bit of time in hand on Robert Lee, gets the ball back to Ronnie Sinclair in the City goal. This time Sinclair decides he's going to roll it out of his area, and doesn't seem to make a lot of difference as City lose out in the air again. Smith on the ball, finds Rennie. Rennie, a long ball forward for Taylor, but the flag is up for offside. And there'll be another free kick to Charlton Athletic. Charlton, who've won only 2 away games all season, but what fine victories they were at Newcastle of all places, and Middlesbrough, and on course really for a third one this afternoon, unless there is a very radical change in the last 20 minutes or so. But Junior Bent has a chance for City. Andy May spreads it wide, so that really is an aimless ball, and Boulder is able to collect that one comfortably, and that really sums up City's afternoon. They really haven't got things together. Their passing has lacked the required accuracy. One has to give Charlton and their manager a lot of credit, because he's certainly done his homework on Bristol City so far. But perhaps Lenny Lawrence will be a little concerned that Charlton, for all their superiority, are only a goal in front, which means that City could find themselves back on level terms if they could just get one worthwhile move together. City win a free kick just inside the Charlton half. Played to Andy May. May chips it into the area again. When he finds the head of Tommy Caton, Rennie plays it back, but Mortimer plays it up into the air, and Shelton does well. The ball still bobbling around on the edge of the area, but somehow Charlton come away with it again, and that's the story of the afternoon. As Charlton off of the banks there as Llewellyn chips it forward for Junior Bent. Can he keep it in? No, he can't. You can see just how hard Charlton are working. There's Alex Dyer, their striker, working very hard back in defence to deny City, and that really has been the secret perhaps of their success this afternoon so far. Just the way that they've run for each other and played the ball around very well. Certainly not looking like a side at the bottom of the division as Rennie wins out in the air. Taylor now has a chance to get City moving, but he's crowded out by Minto and Caton, and it's Minto who comes forward. And again, the whistle goes as Minto is flattened. Free kick to Charlton Athletic. Peake over this one with Minto. Played short to the Charlton fullback. Mortimer on the ball. Beats Andy May with that little turn. He goes forward again. Played to Curbishley. Curbishley, a good ball forward for Fisher, but Smith is there, and Smith this time wins out and lays the ball down the line, but only as far as a Charlton player who finds Stuart Balmer. Balmer exchanges passes with his goalkeeper Bob Boulder. And Charlton, of course, in no hurry at all. They lead by a goal to nil. Just 17 minutes left. As Charlton come forward again. It's Minto cut out by Humphries. Shelton now trying to get Rennie into the game in midfield, and this time the free kick goes to City for a foul on David Rennie. Rob Newman places the ball inside the centre circle. City skipper. Played towards David Rennie. Rennie does well. Plays it back for Andy Llewellyn. The cross comes in, headed out by Balmer, and again Lee is on the edge of the area. To complete the clearance as Humphries lobs the ball forward. Taylor is there with Minto, and Minto looks a little inquiringly at the linesman. Thought he might have been pushed, but City win the throw in. And May plays Bent. That's a great cross from Junior Bent, but Balmer is under this one, and Charlton clear through Dyer. Dyer down the line finds Watson. Watson into space, and now Robert Lee has a lot of space here. He makes ground to the edge of the City penalty area. Fires in a shot. Sinclair down well to save, and also smothering the second effort from Gordon Watson. But what a good move from Charlton Athletic, and it's a corner, and City can be thankful to their keeper Ronnie Sinclair for that save from Robert Lee. Dave Smith wanting Charlton to speed things up a bit as Curbishley takes his time over this corner, and Curbishley takes the kick. Mortimer loses out. Peake has the effort, low effort, which comfortably held by Ronnie Sinclair, but could have been difficult if someone had got a deflection onto that one. Mortimer with a up and under, which Aizlewood gets back to his keeper. On ball forward, and Aizlewood finds David Smith. Smith gets past Lee, does he? And goes down in the penalty area. The whistle had already gone. So City's hopes of a penalty dashed for the first infringement, which Mr. Durkin had spotted, an obstruction. As the referee's arm aloft, as Rennie moves the ball. Rennie moves away as Andy May takes the free kick for Bristol City. Deep towards Rennie. Rennie is there, but once again Mortimer is there. Rennie, can he get in the cross? He does. It's headed on by Rob Newman, but again Charlton somehow cleared out of their area with plenty of bodies between the City forwards and Bob Boulder as May gets in the cross. This time a little bit too high for Glenn Humphries. But the ball played to Mark Aizlewood. Aizlewood to Smith. Smith with two players again in attendance, and really that wasn't a good cross, and Watson now has a chance to break for Charlton. Lee plays it to Curbishley, in turn finds Pitcher, makes room to get the return ball, but this time can't get his forwards moving and goes out for a throw-in to Bristol City, as City throw in their last card. It's Wayne Allison coming on for junior bench, and Allison of course wearing the number 14 shirt this afternoon after the recall of Bob Taylor to the number 9 shirt. Taylor, along with his colleagues, really not having too much time to shine, as Lee is set on his way again, and surely that's got to be a penalty this time, as Aizlewood tumbles over the ball, and Mr. Durkin will have none of it, and Robert Lee is fuming about that with some justification. Surely that had to be a penalty, as City are called offside at the other end of the field. But what an escape for City, as there appeared to be a handball there as Aizlewood tumbled on top of the ball. Nothing given. Free kick though at the other end to Charlton, which Caton will take. And Lee now has a chance to taunt the City defence again. Takes 3 City players to stop him. Good piece of skill there by Aizlewood as Smith gets away again, this time bundled to the ground by Gordon Watson. Quick word for the Charlton striker from referee Mr. Durkin. City get the free kick on the halfway line, which Mark Aizlewood will take. Hit forward. Header in by Rennie. Allison is held off there, and Mortimer gets Shelton going again, and once again it's Robert Lee who's free. He finds Watson in space on the right hand side. Watson makes room to the penalty area, gets in a shot, and what a good save again from Ronnie Sinclair, and City have allowed Watson to go a long way there to get in his shot, and yet again no challenge coming in, and well, been a nightmare for Bristol City. A corner now to Charlton Athletic, and that's 2 important saves from Ronnie Sinclair, 1 from Lee and now 1 from Watson. So the ball is played in again, and Allison is going to have to play this one away. No, he's not, because he's got a free kick. Sinclair will take it. Allison gets the flick on for Taylor, but once again Charlton clear their lines. Caton forward. Humphries cuts out the danger, and Andy Llewellyn plays the ball to Rob Newman. Newman, long ball forward to the head of Andy May. May to Wayne Allison. Allison to Shelton. Shelton finds May, who's now playing wide on the right hand side. Llewellyn gets in the cross. Allison is under this one. It's Balmer who gets it away, only as far as Peake, who can't complete the clearance, and Aizlewood will get Andy Llewellyn in. Seems to be impeded there by Alex Dyer, but nothing given as Ben Humphries dives in at Watson to win the ball, and City win a throw in on this near side. Andy May will take. Allison is nudged by Minto. It's going to be a free kick to City with time running out. Just 8 minutes left of this game. Smith will take the free kick for Bristol City. Headed out again, only as far as Aizlewood. Aizlewood to Rennie. Rennie gets in the shot, but deflected. Again, that doesn't really matter because there's an offside decision against City. And once again, a few more seconds being taken up by that free kick. Boulder will be in no hurry at all to clear his lines, although he kicks from hands. Newman is under this one. Peake in the middle of the park, losing out to Rennie, and ball breaks for Andy May. And well, Wayne Allison a little unlucky there, didn't quite time his run. Could have been in on the Charlton goal from that pass from Andy May, but the flag is up, and Tommy Caton takes the free kick for Charlton. Dyer does well to keep the ball in, loses out though to Andy May, and he gets the ball back from Andy Llewellyn as City clear again, but Humphries' pass forward, not a good one. Charlton though can't maintain possession. Aizlewood in the left back spot keeps it in, but gives it away as Pitcher wins the ball, finds Robert Lee, finds Peake. Peake goes back further to Balmer, and Balmer will play it all the way back to Bob Boulder. Another long kick. Newman under this one with Watson. Watson does well to shield the ball. Loses out though to Shelton and Newman. And ball played around between Shelton and Rennie. Finds Andy May, but Minto again denies City space. They win a throw in. Allison loses out to Mortimer, and Charlton happy now probably just to play the ball away. Sinclair clears upfield. Allison is under this one, loses out again to Caton, but Charlton again just wanting to keep things tidy. Deny City space inside the Charlton half, and Watson is called offside there, so it's another free kick to Bristol City. We're inside the last 5 minutes. We trail by a goal to nil to Charlton Athletic. It came after 44 minutes. It was scored by Robert Lee, who has certainly caused problems to the City defence this afternoon, but then it's been a below par performance from Bristol City, and Charlton fully deserved to be in front as Taylor tries to get City moving again. Andy May washes the ball out, takes the throw in quickly. Llewellyn took on by Taylor, headed out by Balmer. Curbishley completes the clearance, finds Robert Lee. Lee holds it up well and very sensibly plays it back to his goalkeeper Bob Boulder. No need for Charlton to take any risks now. Done their job well. Aizlewood under this one. Finds Wayne Allison. Allison brought down by Stuart Balmer. It's going to be Aizlewood to take the kick. Rennie can't win the header this time, but still has an opportunity to get the ball, but Caton plays it off in the City number 6 for a throw-in to Charlton, which Minto will take. He leads it out to Dyer, but Dyer's header as far as Newman. Ball falls for Allison. Allison's shot there blocked by Stuart Balmer for a corner, which Dave Smith will take. I think City wanted to take that one quickly, but weren't allowed to, as Smith gets in the corner. Flick on by Rennie, the ball to Allison. Allison in, and Taylor in on the keeper, but Bob Newman in fact who was in on the keeper, and balled her down quickly to deny City. Probably most difficult save he's had to make in this second half. A flick on there by Watson, only as far as Llewellyn. Llewellyn forward for Allison. Allison down for Taylor, who can't quite control that one, and Charlton come away through Robert Lee again. Lee, who's had a splendid game running at the City defence, got Humphries with him. He checks back, finds Dyer. Dyer to Mortimer. Mortimer to Minto. Minto to Peake. Peake back to Tommy Caton, and Bob Boulder gets another touch of the ball as we come up to 44 minutes on the clock in this second half. Peake, a long ball forward. Watson will chase, but Aizlewood calmly collects for City. Ball forward, but again Peake is there, and this time Mortimer able to collect that one as the ball is played forward by Allison. Oh, to Allison. Allison finds May. May checks back to Llewellyn. Ball up in the air again, and this time Taylor can't win it. Curbishley hooks it away, and there's that man Lee again. Lee will run at the City defence. Humphries and Aizlewood in attendance. Aizlewood checks, has to pursue Watson now, but Watson will go towards the corner flag. It does. Aizlewood concedes the throw in, and we're almost now into injury time. Some 10 seconds on the clock. There's Dyer. Can get the ball in. He wins a corner off of Rob Newman. And the ball at the wrong end really now for City if they're going to save this game. We trail by a goal to nil. And this will be City's second home league defeat, and really something of a disappointment as Lee wins out. There's a tussle with Smith. Throw in to Charlton Athletic. Mr. Durkin asking Charlton just to speed it up a little bit. Into injury time now. And in fact there goes the whistle, and City have indeed suffered their second home league defeat of the season. They've been beaten by Charlton Athletic by a goal to nil. A thoroughly deserved victory for Charlton, given to them by a 44th minute goal from their striker Robert Lee. A below par performance from City, sadly out of form, and well,
Charlton will move a couple of places up the table, and I suspect that City may drop a couple. We're finished. Bristol City 0, Charlton Athletic 1.